Hello, fair listeners, to a show of whimsy, thrills, and irreverence. We are so glad you're here, but please note that the following show will reveal every secret there is to hold, language you may find offensive, and things not suitable for the faint of heart. For once you enter this world of fantasy, you have reached the point of no return.
I can't even think about someone hurting you.
Bella, the only thing that can hurt me is you. And I don't have anything else to be afraid of.
It's not true.
Victoria, she'll come for me one day. Alice will see when she decides, and we'll be ready.
I could protect you if you change me.
No, you already do protect me. You're my only reason to stay alive, if that's what I am. But it's my job to protect you.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creatures, features, and beyond. I'm Erica, and similar to the plot of this film, I'm joined with two men whom you are all going to have to fight over. We have Team Dan
Hey.
and Team Matt.
I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I got the hair, but I'm not as muscly as Jacob.
Which one's who's who?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Who's the vampire?
That's for you two to fight over. But before we get into this next installment of the Twilight Saga, the plugs. You can find Monster Madness on pretty much every social media platform: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, TikTok, and everything else you can think of. You can find Matt occasionally playing video games over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Monster Madness Pod. We also have a Discord channel for our community that we would love for you to join. If you would like to support the show, there are numerous ways you can do that. You can become a monthly Patreon for as little as $2 a month. You will get early access to free episodes as well as exclusive content, like my podcast that I have with Josh from Still Loading. It's called Still Bonding, and it's a show about two friends who are bonding over the 007 franchise. Also, on our Patreon, each tier will give you a bunch more stuff. For a one-time donation, you can sub to our coffee website. And finally, if you'd like to own some Monster Madness merch, you can head on over to TeePublic and peruse our store. All the links for the aforementioned things will be posted in the show notes as per usual. So, all right, let's dive into the soul-crushing Bella Depression with the 2009 film New Moon.
Edward, what happened with Jasper? It's nothing.
You're right. It was nothing. Nothing but what I always expected. And nothing compared to what could have happened. You just don't belong in my world, Bella.
So, the Twilight Saga New Moon came out in 2009. It is rated PG-13 and it runs for 2 hours and 10 minutes. New Moon stars everybody that was in the last one with a couple additives. Let me find them. Michael Sheen, Jamie Camel-Bauer, who you guys might know as Vecna in Stranger Things, Christopher Heyerdahl, and that's pretty much it for like heavy hitting actors that are new in the film. Everybody else is the same: Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, yada yada yada. I'm not gonna name them all. Just remember. This film was directed by Chris Weitz. It was written by Melissa Rosenberg and Stephenie Meyer, and it only has a one tagline: "The next chapter begins." It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Matt, what's the budget?
We made Dan guess last time. I'm guessing you know.
I always know.
Dan, would you like to take a stab at the budget?
$200 million.
I like how the last time he was like, "Oh, $45," and then this time he's like $7 billion. It's $50 million.
Avatar.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, but I think the Avatar movies were like in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
They fucking shouldn't have been.
I don't know. I'd probably say 20 million.
50, which is the answer that I gave 40
He
seconds
didn't
ago.
hear you 100%.
Did
I
you
didn't think
really?
so. And that's why I was like, if he
Say
says 50, I'm calling him out on it. But no, it's $50 million.
Fucking
And then the
cheater.
box office was 709.8 million.
That's that ADHD right there.
No, that's just you talking over people and you don't hear them.
I do it all the time.
He's got bad hearing, remember?
Yeah.
First Avatar movie's budget was $237 million, for reference. But it made $2.9 billion.
I don't want to start this pod with like a controversy, but about a franchise that we're not even talking about. But I could give a shit about Avatar.
Me too. I fell asleep and I don't want to see the second one.
I think it's the stupidest movie. I've seen it maybe twice.
You mean you don't want to put time into a movie where the big thing that everyone's trying to get is an item called unobtainium? Unobtainium?
What?
Wow, I didn't even remember that.
That's what it's called?
The only thing I remember from those movies.
It's the dumbest fucking thing.
The only thing I remember from those movies is that for the big blue bitches to have sex, they just have to intertwine their hair tails.
Someone has to space dock the other one's hair tail.
I don't
That's
like how
pretty
you phrase
cool.
that.
Well,
That's
it's
pretty
true.
cool.
Yeah.
You don't have a wiener anymore. You just have a space tail.
Mm-hmm. And then you just.
Do you think you feel from the tail?
Can you feel it?
Can you feel from the tail?
It sounds like that turtle humping the shoe.
Yeah.
Or do you like jump and like fly, like how like birds have sex where they're flying and
Daniel, that is not. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait the fuck. Hold on.
That's how they do it.
Hold the fucking phone. That is not
That's how some birds do it.
No, Daniel, that is not how birds have sex. Because my
some
mom.
of them do it.
Oh my
like
god,
that way.
Daniel, my mom was a bird breeder. That's not how birds have sex.
There's a few. I'm pretty sure there's.
You're
a few
telling me that
species.
there's a bird that torpedoes another bird and is like, take my seed, and like just dive bombs it?
You just stole my quote from the last episode.
No,
I did.
I'm pretty sure there's a few type of birds where they lock onto each other's claws, and then as they're falling, they're what he said earlier.
I fucking love you so much.
This is okay. So this whole conversation is making me think of the movie Role Models.
It's been a minute since I've seen that.
So Wheeler, played by Sean William Scott, is explaining to a kid, I think. I don't know. But he says, did you know that bald eagles are known to engage in a bizarre mating ritual where two eagles fly upwards, lock talons, fall towards the earth while rotating, separating almost before they crash in the ground, if and only if they consummate their bird fuck?
See? That's what I'm talking about.
The way he says it's way better. But yeah, it Dan's not. And then it ends, it says, if they don't, they are willing to accept their death by hard ground.
I remember seeing that shit on National Geographic, and I'm just like, I'm going to remember this.
Yeah, I think he took a couple like instances in Dansville upstairs and then put them together, but he's not 100% Vols.
It makes sense now.
They just mash their holes and mesh entrances.
What Daniel believes how birds have sex is exactly what happens to his brain with two ideas. They just
just Dan's two thoughts: lock talons, fall towards the earth.
It's like that conversation on The Office, because we haven't talked about The Office in a while, where Dwight is asking Toby how gay men have sex. He's like, is it like the fucking medical bracelet, the two snakes? How does the one penis open up and take the other?
Oh god, that's so fucking funny.
That show, man, I fucking love it.
Can we talk about The Office instead of New Moon?
No. So the plot of New Moon, because we're gonna get right into it. We can't talk about birds having sex anymore. Sorry, bird lovers. What's a bird lover called again?
I think it's illegal.
A bird watcher?
No, they have a specific name.
No, aviary. What is I think a bird watcher is called an aviary. It just says a bird watcher is called a birder.
That's
birder?
Lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
I've given up on this topic. Please
all
talk
right.
about this movie.
So the plot of New Moon. Now that we've all learned so much about stuff. On her 18th birthday, Bella Swan awakens from a dream where she is an old woman and Edward Cullen, her immortal vampire boyfriend, is forever young. I already love this wiki.
Oh, Edward.
I love you so much.
Not today, bitch.
I'm going to bite you now so you're old forever.
Sucky. Oh,
No,
wrong.
Wrong. Wrong. Despite her lack of enthusiasm, Edward's family hosts a birthday reception for her at their residence. While unwrapping a gift, she receives a paper cut. Edward's foster brother Jasper is overwhelmed by the scent of Bella's blood and attempts to attack her but is restrained. Believing that he and his family are putting her life in danger, Edward ends their relationship and the Cullens leave Forks. So I'm going to read through the whole plot actually because I do have notes for this to compare it to the book, just so you guys know. Okay.
What?
I was waiting for some type of response. It's just dead silence and misery.
Oh, I was more thinking like, do you think there's anything that would like the scent of something would make you go crazy as a human?
Oh God, what's he saying?
Pussy.
Because like a paper cut, and he's just like, I gotta have that blood.
That's the clip.
Presumably someone who really likes sugar. I don't know. I don't think there's any this like. There are a lot of things where I'm like, oh god damn. But
Oh shit, those cookies.
yeah, right. No part of me is like, mama's making them sugar boogers. Here I come.
But that's what I was just thinking. Like when like it's just this little itsy bitsy.
I fucking knew you were gonna say pussy.
Like this little itsy bitsy paper cut, and this guy's like full boner, just ready to attack.
I mean, I guess not that I really want to get into semantics of sparkle fairies in Twilight, but if you are a vampire that has deprived yourself of the one thing that everyone knows vampires want, and you smell it, like I guess I could see it.
I mean,
but
they're still getting blood though. It's just from like cows, I think.
Deer.
Which is probably
There's
better.
cows just roaming around.
I mean,
Washington.
shit, they're probably their blood's probably better than humans. We eat the nastiest shit.
No, I feel like human blood is just it's the McDonald's of blood.
Yeah,
and a
really
cow
is.
is like a fucking salad.
I don't know.
It tastes like trans fats.
I was just thinking about where like other things are more pure. So it'd be a
I
cleaner.
think you're thinking way too deep into
cleaner-
it. When Anne Rice was writing her novels, they were like, Frenchmen and beautiful debutantes with like beautiful blood, like wine soaked blood. Now it's just like, I had some chicken nuggets.
They were dinosaur shaped.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
so good.
Just a thought.
It's a good thought. After Edward leaves, Bella is left severely depressed and isolated for months. Her concerned father, Charlie, wants to send Bella to live with her mother in Jacksonville, Florida. She refuses, promising to spend more time with her school friends. After she and Jessica see a movie, Bella approaches some rough-looking bikers outside the theater, much to Jessica's dismay. The dangerous encounter reminds Bella of a previous near assault where Edward rescued her. She imagines seeing and hearing him and realizes that thrill-seeking activities evoke his image. So I know I said I wanted to go through the plot before I said anything, but I do have comments.
Is that happening in her head, or is he actually projecting himself?
No, he can't do that. Okay, so in the book, she never physically sees him. It's all audible hallucinations, auditory hallucinations. So that doesn't really work that great on a movie. And plus, people come to see these movies to see Taylor Lautner and Robert Pattinson, so they had to kind of insert him in other spots and not just wait until the end of the movie to see him again.
Okay.
So they make him like a hologram in the film just to show that she's hallucinating. So the thing I want to touch on real quick, and we'll talk about this for a few minutes, is this movie in particular, and I think this book in particular, hit home with a lot of the demo that the demographic, because every teenager goes through some form of heartbreak, whether it's unrequited love or you're in a relationship and you break up and it seems like the end of the world. Now, I know from my personal experience that I had a high school boyfriend and we broke up in my senior year right after prom. Thank God, because I would have been fucking pissed if it was before my prom. And it was like, I really think I don't remember how we broke up at this point because it's been like 15 years, but I think it was through a text message, which is fucking grimy. But I remember I was like inconsolable forever.
But that's normal though.
True, but I give kudos to my friends that had to listen to me incessantly talk about it. Like, I don't understand.
Were any of them happy for you? Like happy that like you weren't with that person?
No, he was really well liked amongst my group of friends because we were all friends before me and him started dating. And then we started dating, and then he kind of just kind of recused himself from the friends group.
Did you listen to Goodbye, My Lover? The 30 seconds of the chorus over and over?
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
Michael, why don't you just buy the whole song?
I don't want the whole thing. I just want a taste of it.
Yeah.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. No, I just remember being really fucking sad. Like super, super sad. Mind you, this relationship did not last more than 3 months. That's fucking pushing it. If it even lasted that long.
Did you talk about getting married and shit though?
No.
Oh, I was like, that's a pretty high school relationship right there. Be like, we're gonna be together forever.
I mean, we did the whole time. I love you so much. But like, what is high school love? Like, you think it's the greatest thing, and then you think your next love is the greatest thing, and then you think the next one, and then
Oh shit.
And then you find out it's just bickering at each other because someone left the fucking cabinets open.
oh my god, that might be the clip too. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. No, okay, so like, okay,
I'm dead.
not to be like a cornball, and like we don't really. Obviously, Daniel and I are married, and we're not like, I love you so much. We're not
What are
really.
you talking about? I say that every single morning.
We don't do it on the fucking internet, is what I'm saying to you, schmuck.
Yes, we do. Don't lie to the people.
So,
She's gonna fucking stab you in your sleep tonight.
yep. And the nice thing I was about to fucking say.
Tell me you love me.
I'm not doing that now.
Okay.
But when you do find your person.
Oh, what's that mean?
To be determined. I'm pretty sure she's thinking about trading you in.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good trade-in.
When you do find your person, those things that you were so emotional and upset about seems to be very like trivial, and like you're like, why did I react that but with like that crazy? Like why? Like I remember being in my friend's car because she would pick me up and drive me home most days because she was the only one in our friend group that had a license, and she lived down the street from me. And she, oh my God, love her. She heard me and saw me cry almost every day until basically we graduated high school. And she's like, I'm going off to college for a little bit. Hopefully you're over this by the time I get back. And then I went to college and dated someone even worse. But yeah, did you guys ever? Because it from a from me from a female perspective, it seemed like completely heartbreaking, but he did not care. Obviously, he was the one who did the breaking up. He was the first guy, not to toot my own horn, but out of all the people that I ever dated, he was the first guy to break up with me. I usually broke up with people because I got sick of them. But did you guys have similar experience in high school, like from a male perspective, like where you really liked a girl or you loved a girl, quote unquote, high school loved a girl, and it ended and you were like how I was? Like, do God, like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't really know because, like, all my guy friends are just like, I ain't crying over no bitch. Like, they're just, I mean, at least like 17-year-old version of them. Now, most of my guy friends are in touch with their feelings.
Yeah, I would say yes. That definitely happens. I mean, for me, we dated for years. So when
Yeah,
that
you did.
yeah, so when that happens, like it's just like a part of you is someone missing. Your friend circle mostly surrounds that person as well. So like it's just completely different. So it's a whole change of pace of life. But like everybody else, you get time moves on and you get over it.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
Did you listen to sad songs and
Yeah.
there's a possibility?
Oh yeah. I was listening to all sorts of stuff, all sorts of sadness.
Making
Yeah.
her mixtapes?
Huh?
Making her mixtapes? Like,
I
please,
think I did. I
please,
think I
please take
did.
me back.
I think I did. I did make one mixtape. I think I did. Yeah.
That reminds me.
You found a mixtape?
No, if I did, Daniel, I'd be so fucking pissed. Be like, I kept it.
No, no, not Hermit. I was like, because we've had mixtapes from the past.
Oh yeah, well, when you were at college, we'd send
Yeah.
each other CDs, yeah, because we
Yeah.
were cornballs.
Yeah.
But we were 20, okay. But no, that reminded me of this one thing. So in high school, this was before my senior boyfriend. This is when I was a sophomore, I think. In the span of like 4 or 6 weeks, I like wound up dating one guy. We broke up, and then I started dating someone else. The one guy, first guy was named Eric, and everybody loved that. They loved us together. They're like, "Oh my God, Eric and Erica, you guys are meant to be." I'm like, I don't really think that's the criteria to have matching names, but sure. we like didn't even talk. We dated and like made out like one time, and that was it. And then I started dating this other guy, Will, who was a football player. Now, if you know me, I am 5'2" and very small. He was 6'4" and like 3 times my size. Like he was just a huge dude, and everybody was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, he's nice." But he was really fucking weird and clingy, and like 2 days into dating me, he was just like, "I fucking love you so much.
Oh god.
I like literally would die for you." And I'm like,
Oh, man.
"Oh boy." So I dumped him cuz he freaked me out, and it was like right before Christmas, and he mailed me. Actually, I have a couple stories
Man,
like this, guys.
better hope he's not listening.
Fuck it. He's not. Fucking buckle up. I have a couple stories actually. And one no, okay, let me finish this one first. He sent me this note, and I actually might still have it somewhere. I don't know. I don't think I threw it out because it was just I just couldn't believe that this actually existed. He wrote like on a piece of computer paper like this whole love letter that was just like, "You're the love of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do without you." And then proceeded to like write quotes from like one movie that we watched together, which I think was Wedding Crashers. And I think he just like,
Jesus.
I think he literally wrote out all the rules of like wedding crashing.
Oh
And
god.
then like still, and then in the midst of the love letter, there's like a dot, dot, dot. And he's just like, "I can't finish this letter because you just broke up with me." And then just like went on another tangent. I was like,
Oh boy.
wow.
I don't know.
You never went crazy like that on a girl?
I probably did go crazy, but
What about you, Matt?
but
Before I
that's
get
like
to
but
my
you said
stalker
like 3
story.
days, like 3 days is
Yeah, 3 days and I was the love of his life. I think he's still single, to be honest with you, but he was a fucking weirdo.
oh fuck.
Matt, what about you? Did you have any, if you want to talk about it, this is a safe space, and I want to make sure people know that you're still on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, there was one girl. I mean, I think I was 20. I was out of high school, but more often than not, when I would date a girl, I would get just sick of them. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I just never really dated anyone for that long. Jenna was the only one, and then she cheated on me and left me. But also, like in the span of that year, it was the first time that I started traveling in a band. My best friend had died in a car accident, so there's like a lot of things that I had gone through with this girl.
Yeah.
And then she decided she was sick of me, and then fucking went to a party and cheated on me. I had a
Oh.
real hard time with you. My mom was like, "Your heart's broken," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna break your nose, bitch." Yeah, dude, it sucked. But now looking back, like that's the girl whose dad we had to block from calling me because he would call me when every time Jenna was single and be like, "You come back." This is the
Okay.
same man that once told me that his daughter just needed to get fucked because she was being a bitch.
Did you
I saw this man throw a remote control at his wife.
were you like, I got it, Dad?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I got you. I got you.
God, I think you fucking broke me.
It was. That's a weird family. He randomly will message me on Facebook and it just says hi, and unless he asks a question, I don't respond.
Son, is that you?
Yeah, dude. He said, "I don't care which girl in this family you marry, just marry one of them." And I'm like, God damn, dude, your family's fucked up.
Oh,
He just still
God.
has a picture of you, that one that got away.
Probably does. He recently posted on Facebook pictures of the Rush concert that we went to like 9 years ago.
He just fucking photoshops Matt's head onto family
This is
photos.
also the same family. And I've ever told you the story about the wedding picture where someone got a divorce and then instead of getting a new picture, they just photoshopped the person as a tree.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yeah, that's this family.
Damn.
Wow. So
Her
I'm not far
grandma
off
was
the
younger
mark.
than no, yeah, her grandma was younger than my dad.
Jeez.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Dude's
My nana is very young.
dude's on the porch drinking a 30 pack. Just
What
thinking
did you
about
say?
Matt.
You had kids young?
I said my nana is very young.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it was just like it was the family dynamic. Like her mom had 3 kids by the age of 21. Her grandma had a couple kids by 21.
Yeah.
So it's very,
Yeah, I broke the cycle.
encompassing of
I
that.
broke that cycle in my family. Like my great great grandmother had a kid at 16. My great grandmother had a kid at 17. My grandmother had a kid at 18. My mom had a kid at 19. I was like, fuck the year of 20. I ain't doing shit.
So you waited to what, 25, 24?
I was 24, 25, I think.
Okay, yeah. So I figured right around in there. That still sounds like, to me, 24 sounds so like, that sounds very young to have a child.
It is young to have a child. I feel like a baby raising a baby. But so one more story and then we'll continue.
I feel great.
Because you didn't shit out a watermelon out of your pee hole.
No, not like that. I feel like we're doing a great job as parents.
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah.
have a notebook of notes. As I say to everyone, make sure you take your parenting skills from the guy without kids.
What's it like to have free time?
You really think I have just a shitload of free time?
Well, you like to fill your time.
You fill your free time with activities. So
Yeah, like
right.
what's it like to
Which
have activities?
you are. That's a good question. What's it like to do something without having to answer to fucking two little terrorists?
And then if you decide to stay home, you still can just do what you want to do.
for the most part, I mean, Barf kind of, I don't want to say threw a wrench in it, but it's also a dog, and that is a lot shorter span of time than until he's, you know what I mean? But
Dark.
I was in a meeting once, and like it was like 2 weeks ago, and I said something about playing a show, and a guy, it's someone I haven't really talked to a bunch of work. He goes, "Oh, you play in a band and have a full time job?" And I was just like, "Let me correct you." And he goes, "What?" I said, "I have 2 jobs. I play in 2 bands, and I run a wrestling company." He just looks at me like, "Yeah, I got a problem with like not being busy, because then I have to like deal with my feelings."
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
I'll give you a hug.
So I have another story real quick about crazy boys. And just I think my point with telling these stories is not, it is for yucks, but also like I said in the last episode, these movies get a lot of shit because they're like, "Oh my god, it's so extreme." Um People are extreme. And I really just want to reiterate that. This is me telling you yet another fucking crazy story. And this person is probably listening to this fucking podcast because he's a psychopath. So I had a stalker in college. And I shouted out my cousin Jackie in the last episode for something funny. I'm going to shout her out in this episode because I blame her for this situation. Because I had just broken up with my college boyfriend. We had been off and on like throughout my entire like 2.5 years that I was an on-campus student. It was like me and him were fucking terrible. So we broke up and we were on like our off stage, and my cousin was at school with me, and she was like, "Just get out there." She's like, "Just have fun, college years." And I'm like, "Okay."
That is the opposite of what Jackie sounds like.
I know. I was
You
just,
got a 9,000% more Philadelphia accent, please.
yo.
Yeah, we go fucking cheesesteak, get out there, go all you party, yeah. I don't know, she's turned to someone from Brooklyn at this point. I don't
She
know.
did.
Sorry, Jackie.
She probably did say yo though. Yo, just fucking go. Just fucking enjoy yourself. I don't know. But so there was this one table that I would always sit in the community center, like the common area rather, in my old college. It was like the corner of the cafeteria. There was like a plug where I could plug in my laptop. Nobody bothered me and nobody could walk behind me because it was right in the corner. It's great. I could watch everybody, people watch, do my work, skip class. It was beautiful. Eat a bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese. It was
I
choice.
thought you were going to say eat a bag of dicks.
No,
Yeah, I was
that's
way
not
off.
that Samsonite. I was way off. Um, so there was this guy that would walk in occasionally around the same time as my off periods, and he would always look at the corner and like smile at me. And I try to be friendly despite whatever picture you paint of me.
I'm gonna go
And
talk to him.
no, I didn't talk to him. I just never acknowledged his smirk. So the one day after I got a pep talk from my cousin, she skedaddled off to class, and we had a class later in the night, and I just like sat there. He came in, I smiled back at this person, and he sauntered all over and was like, "Hey, can I sit down? I'd like to use to plug in my laptop too." I was like, "Oh, of course you can." We start talking, blah 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 blah, and then every day for like a week and a half straight, he sat with me. And he was nice. He could have showered a little bit more, but he was nice. So I was like, you know what? Let's try to overlook the one little red flag. And then it turned into a fucking flag the size of a pirate ship sail because this dude started following me all over campus to classes that were not his. He started messaging my best guy friend in college. And it was most alarming when he offered to drive me home and I stupidly agreed. And then he tried to lock me in his car with him. I was parked out in front of my house, and my dad wasn't home because my dad's a teacher, so he wouldn't get home till like 4 o'clock, and my classes were done at like 2, so I was already home. And I was like, okay, I want to get out of the car now. And he somehow had it where I could not open the door on the passenger side without him hitting a button, which I was like, that sounds like Ted Bundy. And he was like, oh, come on, let's just talk for a little bit. I was like, if you don't let me out of this car right now, I'm going to actually stab you. And he thought I was joking. And I pulled my knife out of my pocket because I'm from Philadelphia. I have to walk through bus stations that are in bad areas, and I take public transit. You gotta be safe. And he was like, oh, wow, you're not kidding. I'm like, no, no. I don't like being confined in a place that I don't want to be in. And I get stabby. I've never stabbed anybody, but I would. So he let me out. I immediately called my best guy friend and I was like, this kid is a psychopath. I need you and my other guy best friend to protect me. These two guys are like my brothers. They still are. You know who you are if you're listening. Over the course of the next couple days, this stalker messaged my friend, and I'm pretty sure if I like hunted in my college email, I could find the screenshot that he took of it, because they were messaging each other like through, I guess, Facebook or the college IM, whatever it was. And he was like, why is she avoiding me? What's going on? We were supposed to go on a date, which I forgot that part. He asked me on a date. I agreed. And then I was like, oh no, I'm busy. I can't. He's like, I'm in love with her. I want to take her out on a date. Like, I want to show her that I'm a good guy. And he's like, man, maybe just dial it back a little bit. Just, chill. And he's like, I would literally electrocute myself for her just out of nowhere. And my friend found me and he was like, you can never, ever be alone with this man. He's going to kill you.
I'm gonna hook my nipples up to a car battery just to prove my love.
That's basically what it is. We would haul ass across campus to avoid him. And that's not even the worst part. He knew that I worked at a CVS near my house. He knew where I lived, unfortunately, because I let him drive me home. And he knew that I worked at the CVS that was at the end of my street. He started coming into that CVS like a lot. A lot. And I worked a lot. And he wouldn't talk to me, but he would go and walk past me and just like fucking glare at me. And I was like, okay. Because I usually worked in the photo section for a significant amount of time. And then one day, and this is the last time I ever spoke or heard of this man, he must have snuck into the CVS, or not snuck, he walked in, but he placed a present on the checkout and it said to Erica in like this horrible handwriting. And I opened it up and it was
His finger.
it was a finger. No. No, it was a vintage camera because I really like vintage cameras. And it like had another like fucking crazy ass love note that I don't remember what it
Is
said.
that in our house?
Yes, it's in our house.
What the fuck?
It's on our shelf still.
It's probably been bugged this whole time.
No, I actually opened it to
Just
test
beating
that.
his meat the whole time. 8 years.
It's been over 8 years. Yeah, it was pretty horrifying, but it was a really nice camera. And
Did you ever check the film? It's probably just naked pictures of him.
There's fucking nothing in it. Calm down. I wouldn't let it in the house if there was.
Just him electrocuting himself.
But I did find out a few years later that, because I lived in Philadelphia, he lived in Philadelphia. And then when I moved up to Southampton, within like 6 months, he moved up to Southampton.
Well, if he lives in Levittown and comes to our house, I'm going to kill him.
What the hell's yelling?
It's the guy.
Erica, I love you. The whole time you're telling the story, all I can think about is just be like, and his name is John Cena, and then fucking body slammed hand.
I don't know why my mind also went immediately to Leroy Jenkins.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
But yeah, I mean, just to say that, there are scarier things than a girl having severe depression over her vampire ex-boyfriend. I'm just saying. People are fucking horrifying and weird and clingy and don't listen when you're like, I'm going to stab you. Luckily, he did.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway, we are talking about New Moon eventually. Here we go. Bella's friend, Jacob Black, helps ease her pain by engaging her in various activities. He says that many of his friends follow and obey Sam, another Quileute tribe member. While attending a movie with Bella and Mike, Jacob abruptly leaves after becoming inexplicably upset and suffering a burning fever. Bella drives to his home after he avoids seeing her. Jacob has cut his long hair and he now has the same Quileute tattoo on his upper arm, just like Sam and the other tribe members. He tells Bella to stay away. When Bella hikes to the meadow that she and Edward often visited, she is confronted by Victoria's vampire companion Laurent. As he is about to kill her, a wolf pack appears and attacks him. Bella eventually discovers that Jacob and the other tribe members are giant werewolves. Their age-old enemies are vampires, though a treaty exists between the Cullens and the tribe. Jacob's pack members are currently on alert for Victoria, the vampire seeking to avenge her mate James, whom Edward killed to protect Bella. That was a long fucking sentence. With Jacob focused on adapting to his new shape-shifting powers, Bella again finds herself alone and returns to seeking thrill-inducing activities, deliberately oblivious to Victoria's presence. Through a series of miscommunications, Edward believes that Bella has killed herself after Edward's sister Alice has a vision of Bella jumping off a seaside cliff. Distraught, Edward travels to Italy to ask the Volturi, a powerful coven that act as vampiric overlords, to end his life, as he is incapable of doing so himself. When they refuse his request, he plans to force their hand by exposing himself as a vampire to humans during a large festival. Alice returns to Forks, shocked to find Bella is still alive. Alice and Bella travel to Italy to save Edward, arriving in time to prevent him from revealing himself as a vampire. Overjoyed that Bella is alive, he confesses that he left Forks out of concern for her and promises never to leave again. Edward defends Bella from Felix, one of the Volturi, as the Volturi do not allow humans to confide in vampire society, but Edward is easily overpowered. As the Volturi are about to kill him, Bella asks they kill her instead. Impressed by a human's willingness to sacrifice her life for a vampire, the Volturi determine that Bella, knowing that vampires exist, must either be killed or be transformed into a vampire. Alice shares her vision of Bella as a vampire with Aro, a Volturi elder who is able to read thoughts through touch. Aro decides to let them go after extracting a promise that Bella will be turned eventually. After returning to Forks, Bella asks the Cullens to vote on her becoming a vampire. Much to Edward and Rosalie's chagrin, everyone votes yes. Jacob reminds Edward that the years-old treaty with Quileutes will be broken if any Cullen bites a human, but Bella tells Jacob it is her choice, not the Cullens. At the Meadows, Edward admits that he will only let Bella transform into a vampire if she agrees to marry him. Initially, Bella refuses, but contemplates afterwards. And that is the Wikipedia plot of New Moon. Now, I have notes. So, things that are left out, I'm just going to go through these real quick, or different than the book, rather. Bella's closeness with the family. This movie does not showcase at all how Bella really establishes relationships with every single member of the family, sans Rosalie. Like, Rosalie and her are always chilly while she's a human, but Bella is very close. Like, she's best friends with Alice. She hangs out with Jasper a lot. Edward, Jasper, and Alice are just always together, and even Emmett, yada yada yada. She's always with Carlisle. She's always with all of them, all the time. They're very close. Doesn't really showcase that at all. The combo with Edward in the woods is extremely awkward in the movie, and it's not as ick in the book. Not like, Bella, I don't want you to come. Like, it's not like as aggressive as it is in the movie. But whatever. Her relationship with Jacob is a lot different in the book.
What was it like then? Was it like,
It's just more.
it's not you, it's me?
It's just not as corny, and it's not as like. I'm having trouble to describe it because like I don't remember like off the top of my head like exact quotes. The dialogue is very similar, but it's him just like being like, "Look, you're a human, I'm a vampire. I have to go." They are recognizing that we're different. It's just, it's just too much. And, he does kind of like
He's
say
like, it was good while it lasted. Bye.
pretty much, and he does like say like just, take care of yourself for Charlie's sake, you'll never see me again, yada yada yada. They like make it so cringe, like the dialogue. It's not how I read it, is what I'm trying to say. Like if you read it on a page, it feels a lot different than like, I'm coming. I don't want you to come. Like it's just like I feel like they wanted to make that really cringy intentionally because they realized how poorly it was written.
Okay.
Her relationship with Jacob is entirely different too. They are best friends. I mean, they showcase that in the movie, but it's really quick. Like they spend every waking moment together when Edward leaves. Like they build the bikes, they do homework together, they, do food and yada yada
Well, he
yada.
probably thought this whole time he's gonna get it in.
I mean, yeah. But
He's probably pissed after that. Like, built these fucking bikes, hung out with this bitch every fucking day.
37 hours of
Oh my God.
manual labor, don't even get to touch a tit. They do this whole thing that they completely cut out of the movie, where Bella really wants to find the meadow that her and Edward go to, and in the books, Edward always takes her to the meadow because he's like, fucking Flash Gordon it all the way to the, opening of the fucking woods or whatever where this meadow is. It's like 7 miles from like the road, so
Oh, and
clear.
a spider monkey in it.
Yeah, you better hang on tight, spider monkey. Um, So Bella wants to find it. So she basically tricks Jacob into like these elaborate hiking missions with a map where they go through the entire woods trying to find it. And when he like kind of like bails on her because he starts transforming into a werewolf, she gets really upset and does it on her own, and that's when she runs into Laurent. She also like the bike crash, she like fucking slices her head open and has to get stitches. Like this girl is probably covered head to toe in scars. I don't understand why Stephenie Myers wanted to abuse Bella that badly, but she's like fucked up all the time. Like if she doesn't have a cracked skull, her face is sliced
So you're
open.
telling me she's not as pretty as Kristen Stewart?
No, I mean Kristen Stewart's a bomb, so Jacob doesn't flip out at the movie theater like they showcase it either. He just gets sick, and it just turns out that um it's him changing, but like Bella also
How
gets.
does she know he's getting sick? He doesn't even go to the same school.
They go to the movie together, like I just said. So like the
Oh,
scene where they go to the movie, he doesn't have that outburst where he's like, "Oh, you want me to put you in the fucking hospital?" Like he's just like, "I don't feel good either." And Bella winds up with the stomach flu Mike has, and uh Jacob is just feverish. It's because the fever is setting in for him to change.
was he actually athletic after the change? Because in the movie, he's like the only athletic werewolf.
That is something that bugs me a lot, actually. So, any supernatural book that you will ever read that involves like transforming humans, like in any shape of the word, so like werewolves or whatever, like shapeshifters, they are usually jacked as shit. Taylor Lautner is the only jacked one in this entire movie with werewolves. The other ones are all
Yeah, the
frumpy.
one guy's got like a beer belly.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, why could they not do the same regiment that he was doing? Because are they trying to make him stand out because he's, the star, like one of 3 stars in the movie? Like,
Because the other thing was like you talk about the leader. The leader's supposed to be the strongest one, so you would think like the leader was freaking stacked.
well, technically, he's not the leader. He's only the leader because Jacob doesn't want to be the leader. But that's beside the point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we find that out later. Spoiler alert.
Supposed to be the leader like day one. Doesn't make any sense.
Because his grandfather was the chief, so once he became of age, he would become the leader.
Oh.
A lot of the awkward dialogue that you hear in the movie is just Bella's inner monologue in the book, so it's not as weird. Like all the emails that she writes to Alice are just like her talking to herself. She doesn't write emails to Alice at all. In the book, when she gets back from passing out in the forest because she's so fucking upset, Edward had gone through and taken everything of himself out of her room, and she thought that he stole it and like just kind of destroyed it, but he actually hid it under a floorboard in her room, which is really fucking weird.
He accidentally fucks up. What's this big hole in my floor?
Yeah, like could you imagine if you were just like investigating like under your bed and you're like, why is this fucking loose? And you're like, oh, there's all the pictures of Edward. There's his shirt. Like
It's Edward. Fuck.
Edward's just hiding under the floorboard. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Edward is only in South America because he thinks he's tracking Victoria. That's how bad he is at tracking, because Victoria's in fucking Forks.
I took a left when I should have taken a right.
And I just kept going.
Wonder what he was smelling this whole time.
Alice is at the house for days. She just doesn't show up, and they immediately leave for Italy. She stays with Bella for quite a while and sleeps on the couch. Rosalie is the one that tells Edward that Bella died because of the conversation she had with Alice. A thing that they don't tell you in the movie is that once the fever sets in for the werewolves, they can't age. So they're forever whatever their physical peak is. So like they age rapidly up until like about like 22, 23ish, whenever their body is at its youngest yet most mature and strongest. And then they stay there as long as they're phasing.
That doesn't make any sense. You could change that yourself.
What the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. We're talking about a movie where the fucking
Because
vampires
like
sparkle like
Arnold
diamonds.
Schwarzenegger, he shouldn't look like that naturally.
Jacob, I don't think doesn't look unnatural. He just looks like very athletic, but also he's what I would expect any werewolf to look if he's literally running hundreds of miles at night. His body is going to be at peak performance.
He wouldn't be jacked like that. Have you ever looked at somebody that like a marathon runner?
You realize we're in fucking make believe land, right?
I'm just saying, something that runs all day is going to look like a marathon runner, or it's going to be like Clydesdale.
Well, maybe you should get to fucking
and
running.
then skinny torso.
Anyway, my last note here, and it has really actually nothing to do with like plot or anything like that. Every song that you hear on the soundtrack, which the first two movies to me have the best soundtracks. The next few have a couple songs in there that I enjoy, but the first two I actually really, really love the soundtracks. This was the first movie that every single song on that soundtrack was written specifically for this movie. It wasn't a track that was taken from an album that they really liked and smacked it on and got the rights. It was commissioned for this movie. And with all those fun facts, that is New Moon. And now we go to Questions of the Damned. All right, Daniel. How many pounds of muscle did Taylor Lautner gain in prep for Wolf Style, Jacob? 11 pounds, 26 pounds, 32 pounds, or none, because he was already that built by the first movie.
What was my numbers?
11, 26, 32, or none. Pounds of muscle.
Probably go 11.
Matthew, 11, 26, 32, or none.
26. I do remember that one.
All right, Matt. Which star claimed that New Moon was their favorite book in the series? Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner, or none of the main cast actually read the books?
None of them read the books.
Daniel?
It's just the trio?
Yeah. Which one claimed that New Moon was their favorite book?
Probably Patterson.
That was going to be my second guess.
All right, Daniel.
Hmm.
Which actor originally auditioned for Edward and was later cast in this movie? Paul, Caius, Alec, or Felix?
Caius.
Matthew. What was the nickname given to the reel when sent to the theaters? No nickname, they just called it New Moon. The Woods, Montague and Capulets, or The Pack?
The Pack.
Montague.
And Capulets?
Yeah.
They nicknamed it The Woods.
Damn it. That was my second guess.
How many core members of the Volturi are there? 3, 5, 7, or 10?
7.
All right, Daniel. How many core members of the Volturi are there?
There's 5. Because I remember them all standing.
I think there's only 5 in the movie, but I think there's like 7 or 10 in the book. But they cut out a bunch of fucking people.
I'm Team Volturi.
You want to just be like a dictator vampire ship?
Well, they actually are. They're vampires. They're like, I'm not putting up with this bullshit. Let's fucking kill this motherfucker.
Seems kind of boring.
But they're handling business. They're not letting like high school drama get in the way. They're just like, fuck this, you're dead.
Yeah, no, I get you. All right, well, that's Question of the Damned. Congratulations, Daniel. You're killing it this season so far.
Oh, thank you. I'd
Now
like
you're-
to thank my wife and my family.
For making me watch all these movies all the
We watch
time.
these movies all the time.
All right, so with that, now we go to the best part of the episode, at least to Matt, because it's the end. Yay, nay, or slay. So for me, this gets just a nostalgia yay. I enjoy it for the soundtrack, mainly the nostalgia of it. It's corny as shit, but same feelings as the first one. Not as intense as the first one, and it's gonna have a quick drop off soon. But I enjoy the movies for what they are. Watch them in high school and thereafter, yada yada yada. Daniel.
This one's a nay.
Womp, womp,
Womp, womp, womp.
womp.
I typically I've never once been like, I'm gonna watch this, but
I'm in the mood to watch some Twilight.
but when you're in the mood to watch Twilight, that's when I see it.
Happens like once a year when it starts to get cold and rainy.
I would say this probably is one of the better ones. I mean, for the females, you finally get to see some pecs.
Oh
But-
my god, they screamed in the movie theater when
Yeah.
Jacob took off his shirt. Screamed.
So like this is like the only one that actually kind of. I mean, the other ones have it now too, but like this has the most nudity,
No,
doesn't it?
no.
Which
You
does it?
You're gonna find out.
We don't see no nipple, do we?
I don't see nipple. Actually, well, I can't talk about it yet. We can talk about it when we record Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Okay, but up until now, I would say this one, this in the series,
Spoilers.
this has the most nudity, right?
I guess so, if you count,
Man nips,
man nips. Manips.
yeah, and werewolf dong.
No, they don't actually show that, do they?
No.
Anyway, Matt, your rating.
No,
Just fucking kill me.
please relieve me of this mortal coil.
I knew you were going to say that. Well, those are results shocking nobody. That does it for this episode of Monster Madness. Join us next time for the Twilight Saga, continuing with the third installment, Eclipse. Bye.
Toodaloo.
Someone please kill me.
Alice? Oh my god. Bella! What are you... I'm sorry. I can't believe you're here.
Would you like to explain to me how you're alive?
What?
I saw a vision of you. You jumped off a cliff. Why in the hell would you try and kill yourself? I mean, what about Charlie? What about...
I didn't try to kill myself. I was cliff jumping. Recreationally. It was fun.